Hi people, it's me Anja, welcome back to my channel. Today's video focuses on my favorite transgender books with transgender main characters. If you don't know what trans means, it means that your gender identity does not correspond with your biological sex. And if that definition is incorrect, please let me know. If anything I say in this video is transphobic, please let me know. If any of these books, any of these authors, any of these characters, any of these stories are transphobic, please let me know. I do know that some of them are own voices, but like, I don't know. Anyway, just please correct me if anything I say is harmful, because I need to be corrected, because like I never know if anything I say is harmful unless I'm corrected. So anyway, let's just get into these books. The first book on the list is called I Wish You All the Best, written by Mason Deaver. This follows Ben, and after they come out to their parents as envy, they're thrown out of their house and they are forced to move in with their estranged sister, whom they haven't seen in like 5 years. I think it's 5 years, it might be longer. But anyway, so I really enjoy this book. It's YA contemporary. It was just so wonderful. I believe that this story might have been the first one that I've ever read with an NB main character. And I think that Mason Deaver is also NB. So I think that this is one of the ones that's own voices. Anyway, the story is so good. Ben is such a wonderful, resilient character. I loved them so much. And the story was just so well done. It also has a male romance in it, which is also just a nice touch to it. It was just so good and lovely and fluffy. And it was just so wonderful, and I'm so excited for Mason's next book. I think it's called The Ghosts We Keep. I think it's coming out in May of 2021. I have no idea. But basically, I Wish You All the Best is so good, and it deserves all of its hype. The next book on this list is called The Symptoms of Being Human, written by Garvin. This is another YA contemporary, and it follows Riley, a gender-fluid teen who's navigating a new school, being in the closet, and their father running for re-election. This book was so good. Again, I think this might have been the first story I've read about with a gender-fluid main character, and it was just so good. It truly gave me insight as to what it's like to be gender-fluid and also like being in the closet, and it was just so good. Not only did it provide me insight that I didn't have previously, and like new knowledge and all of that, which I love. I love learning about like different people and their experiences, but also it was just a really solid story, and Riley is such a wonderful character. They are just so cool and like witty, and they have a good personality too. I don't know if this book is own voices, but you know, like, I can't really speak on the representation, because since I'm cis, I can only speak on it to an extent. But from my perspective, I thought it was good. I can't really say if it like was stereotypical or anything. I just thought that it was good. It was solid. The story was good too. So yeah. The next book is called Somebody Told Me. This is a YA contemporary, and there's a trigger warning for sexual assault, because it follows a bigender teen whom, after being assaulted, is looking for a fresh new start, and it's a novel of trauma, survival, and identity. And it was so good. It was a very like hard-hitting YA contemporary, and I think that it did a good job of like depicting sexual assault. And I don't know, I say that to an extent since I've never been assaulted, but I think that it did a good job of like portraying what unfortunately happens a lot. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but what happens frequently in the Catholic community without dismissing the entire church. You know, I don't know. I'm not Catholic myself, but I know that that happens in the Catholic community, and it really shouldn't. And yeah, I think that the story did a good job of depicting it without like dismissing the entire like Catholic church. So anyway, this story was solid. It was really good, and I really enjoyed it. And honestly, it's very underrated. I've never really heard anybody talk about it before, but it's so good. I really enjoyed it. The representation was well done and solid, and it was just really good. The next book on this list is called Duncan, written by Donna Gephart. This is the only middle grade book on this list, and it's middle grade contemporary, and it was so good. It follows two characters, Lily and Duncan. Who would have thought? Lily's a transgender girl, and Duncan is a boy dealing with bipolar disorder. This book was so good. I love the friendship between Lily and Duncan. I just love books that focus on friendship, and it was just so good. The mental health representation as well as the trans representation was just so solid. The story itself was just so heartwarming and wonderful and fluffy, and it was just like the right balance of being fluffy while also being hard-hitting, because it didn't sugarcoat anything. And I know that it is middle grade, so obviously it's tailored to like a younger audience, but also it was just so good and so like appropriate, and I just really enjoyed it. And I think I rated this book 5 stars, and it was just so good and wonderful. And so with that, I would highly recommend it. The penultimate book on this list is a book that I mentioned pretty recently because it's also sapphic, and it is The Mermaid, the Witch and the Sea, written by Maggie Tokuda-Hall. This is a YA contemporary, and it follows two characters. Flora, the gender fluid character in this instance, who is a desperate orphan turned spy, and Evelyn, an Imperial's daughter, who find a connection on the high seas in a world threaded with magic and has colonialism in it, I believe. So anyway, the story was so good. I know I talked about it fairly recently, so I don't want to like go into the synopsis any further than I already have, but the world building in this book was so good. I really enjoyed the magic. The plot was good. The characters was so good and so lovely. It was rather more like a fluffy of a YA fantasy than like a hard-hitting fantasy, if you know what I mean. And I heard recently on Twitter that there might be a sequel, but I don't know if that was like confirmed by Maggie herself or if that's just like a fan theory or something. Anyway, whatever the case is, if there is a sequel, I'm excited to read it, even though I thought previously when I finished this book that it was a standalone, but whatever, I'll read the sequel. Anyway, the story was so good. I really enjoyed it, and you should read it too. The last book on this list is a book that I read like less than 10 days ago, and it is Cemetery Boys, written by Aiden Thomas. This book is so good. Like I Wish You All the Best, it deserves all of its hype. Well, all of the books on this list deserve all of their hype, but some of them have more hype than others. But anyway, Cemetery Boys was one of the most talked about books on the book internet this year, and it deserves it. Like I literally said in my last week's Reads video, I think, that Aiden Thomas saved 2020, and I still stand by that statement because Cemetery Boys is so good. So basically, it follows Yadriel, I think that's how you say his name, I don't know, but basically when his traditional Latinx family does not accept him as being trans, he is determined to prove it by being like a real blue hole, because in the Latinx community there are certain rituals that the guys do that are different from what the girls do. So he's determined to prove himself to his family by doing the ritual that the boys do. So this book, like I said, is so good. I really enjoyed the world building, the characters, the plot. I don't know if I said this before, but it's YA fantasy for those people who've never heard of Cemetery Boys before. Yeah, it's YA fantasy. It's so good. It was absolutely wonderful. The romance in this book was also well done. It was just so good. And I don't really want to like promote this book anymore because I feel like you've probably already heard of this book and you probably expected this book to show up on this list. So anyway, this book is just really good, and please read it if you haven't already. So if you enjoyed this video, please let me know by giving this video a thumbs up. Comment down below why you enjoyed it. Comment down below your favorite trans book with trans main characters. I hope that this book list helps you diversify your bookshelf. And again, like I said in the beginning of this video, if any of these stories are transphobic, please let me know. As a cisgender person, I cannot determine what's transphobic and what isn't. So please educate me if there is an opportunity to do that. So anyway, thanks for watching, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time. Bye!